Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to something else. Something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matara, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Welcome to episode number 221 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from, what the hell day was this? August 11th, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson to my Hacksaw Butch Reed. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
I'm terrific. I halfway expected you to say the Bill Mercer's scraggly beard to Bill Mercer's uncombed hair.
That motherfucker Kevin Von Erich stealing his beard and razor. Or beard, wow. Stealing his comb and razor. We're off to a hell of a start here, folks. Oh, Lord. So, safe to assume you have not watched Forbidden Door yet. You're only like 3 weeks behind of modern day television. So here is your non-spoilerific Forbidden Door review. If you know me and if you've listened to the show, you probably know my tastes. The matches that you'd expect for me to like, I liked them, and the matches that you expect me to not like, I did not like them.
So
There you go.
it met or exceeded expectations.
Exactly.
There we go.
And I got to drool a lot, and I haven't been able to do that in like, I don't know, a year and a half.
Oh, were Tekla and her crew on because they make me kind of drooly.
Well, Julia Hart has always made me drool. Um, and yeah, they were on. They were in a pre-show match. They were in an eight-man. Sorry. Well, I might as well say it. They were in an eight-woman tag on the pre-show.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, I'm not seeking results, but if something that I didn't watch gets spoiled for me before I get to watch it, that's my fault.
Well, I do my best to not spoil things for you.
No.
Hey, I got a big spoiler for you.
So,
Junkyard Dog is gone.
oh, well, he was like the dog of old this week.
Well, we'll get to it. I personally think that he was counting the number of dollars he could make being Hulk Hogan's best friend instead of concentrating on his match this week.
Well, it was a match with Crusher Crucia. What are you gonna do?
Well, I gotta tell you this, not enough wrestlers form a tag team based simply on the fact that they both have the same first name.
Well,
If you think
so
about like,
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Who has the same first name?
Well, I don't want to tell you because that also spoils something else, but like Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho, they had the same first name. They were tag team champions.
The Canadian Chris's, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, WWF had enough people named Chris around that time that they could have had an entire fucking stable taking over the company.
The power of Chris compels you.
Yes, there you go. Nobody could have stopped those people. They could have brought in Chris Candido. I know this is a stretch, but they had Christian. They could have brought in
Chris Canyon came in soon after.
Yep, they could have brought in Christopher Daniels.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Christian York. ECW went out of business. They could have brought him in.
Okay, is Christopher Daniels like, I don't know how to say this.
A record
Best
setter for getting fired
worker,
by all three companies.
What? Just like, did he have the best career mostly in North America of anyone who didn't have a real WWE run of the past, like, of the modern era? Like, at least the past
I
25
I,
years?
I guess it depends on your definition of a real WWE run, because he managed to work and get fired from WWE, WCW, and ECW in a very short period of time. He was the Teddy Hart of late '90s North American promotions.
I didn't. Was he ever signed to WWE? I didn't know that. I knew he
Yeah,
worked a lot of tapings. Like, he wrestled Taco for the light heavyweight title on Shotgun Saturday Night. I didn't know he was under
yeah.
contract. I remember the WCW thing. I didn't realize. Did he get fired, or was that just because the company ended?
I think it was the company ended and his contract wasn't picked up, which is kind of
Yeah,
funny when you think about it.
because they did
Plus
the.
he got injured on the Mike Modest match when he slipped off the middle rope doing an acai moonsault and landed on his head.
So were they going to do that injury angle with Scott Steiner anyway? But Daniels really did fuck himself up before.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's WCW. No matter who's in charge, the cruiserweights must be humbled, old country way.
Yeah, and I heard recently something about like the ECW stint that, like, I don't know, somebody
He had
thought he was big leaguing because he didn't want to help, because he didn't come help set up the ring, and then he was like too expensive to fly in from California or whatever.
I
He did
believe he had
fine.
big he had Bigum Heat with Taz. I believe the story is correct.
Christopher
Um,
Daniels did fine for himself.
he did aight. He did pretty aight. Um, well, for now, let's go to Mid-South Wrestling, August 11, 1984. Let's go to the intro with Boyd Pierce and Bill Watts. It's like the old days. Boyd and Bill.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Mid-South Wrestling. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, and when we left you last week, we promised you that we would bring back the match between the pretty young things, Norvell Austin and Coco Ware, against Buddy Landell and Crusher Khrushchev. And we were sincere when we said that things have happened because Crusher Khrushchev had signed the match to take on the Junkyard Dog. But don't fret, you are the winner. We'll have two main events this week. The Junkyard Dog versus Crusher Khrushchev, and the pretty young things Norvell Austin and Coco Ware will be taking on Nature Boy Buddy Landell, but his partner will be Hacksaw Butch Reed. We have other great things coming up. To tell you about it, the president of Mid-South Sports, Bill Watts.
Well, thank you, Boyd. That's two great main events. But, we've been getting a lot of mail from people, and they ask oftentimes, how do these guys train for these bouts? Well, young Magnum TA has said he will not feel that he's totally the North American champion until such time as he can beat Hacksaw Reed. Now, that North American title bout has been signed, and we're going to join Magnum TA on a workout with a couple of his friends, the TV champion Terry Taylor and Tommy Rogers. Let's go to Jim Ross in the ring with Magnum TA.
All right, so we here at Mid-South Wrestling, we promised you fans a big tag team match this week, and we promised you it so much that we are not going to give it to you. Instead, we're going to have a completely different match.
Okay,
because
it was three quarters the same match, and I will argue that substituting Butch Reed for Crusher Darso was an upgrade.
Oh, I agree 1,000% there. And you can't have people wrestling twice on this show. That is unacceptable.
You could not have Butch Reed wrestle twice on this show. He would not stand for it.
No. And to make it worse, when they showed the graphic on World Class later and said the PYTs were going to take on Reed and a pedophile, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing almost the exact same match on World Class this week.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing for half a second. No, that was the very capable Mike Reed.
Yes, unfortunately, I guess he does not have the power to choose his tag team partner for TV. But the very capable Mike Reed was in action over on World Class. Anyway, so we're gonna get the PYTs versus Budrow and Butch this week, and Crusher is gonna be wrestling the Junkyard Dog in a winner leaves town match. which is a very strange stipulation if you ask me.
I have expected like each of the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 Crusher Darso or Crusher Khrushchev appearances, I have expected to be his last, and he keeps turning up.
He's here till the end of the month, I believe. So
Okay, so the end of
there's that.
August
Yeah.
'84.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, of course, he's in matches till the end of August, so it might air in the middle of September. But he is out of the territory come September 1st.
Okay, I'm sure I already asked you this, but where does he go next?
I believe it was Florida was next, and then he winds up in Crockett. Kind of funny
Yeah.
that he didn't end up in New York because I mean, no, he's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but it's not like the WWF requires that especially at this time. And they do like having xenophobic angles, and they already have Nikolai Volkov. So it's a little surprising they didn't bring in his friend as a Russian sympathizer.
Oh my God, how much better would the Bolsheviks have been if it were Nikolai and Crusher Khrushchev?
But then who does Bill Eadie team up with as Demolition?
Uh, uh, the
Randy
Moondog,
Colley?
Randy Cully, yeah.
Demolition Axe and Demolition. I don't remember what his name was.
He was Smash, wasn't he? He was the original
No,
Smash, and then they.
I thought he was like
Was he
I thought he was
not?
like Blast or something like that.
No, I always thought he was Smash.
Who was the one that had a pizza face? I
I
think that was
don't know.
Axe actually.
By the way, he does leave here and go to Florida for it's about the end of the year. So I get he goes to Crockett in '85, I guess.
No, apparently you're right. On January 4th, 1987, Colley was repackaged as Smash in the new tag team of Demolition, facing and defeating the Islanders. The following day, he made his televised debut during a Superstars taping. Despite having his hair trimmed, his beard shaved off, and wearing face paint, fans almost immediately recognized him and began chanting Moondog when he entered the ring. As a result, he was replaced with Barry Darsow. And
Sucks to be Randy Cully, but yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it would have been great, but the version of Demolition that we got was very good.
it was a quite good team right there. Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow.
Yeah.
So remember last week when Jim Cornette spilled powder in the ring and Junkyard Dog had to roll all over it? The powder
Yes.
is still in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly because this was taped like 20 minutes later. But let's go to JR with Magnum TA, Tommy Rogers, and Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, for a training session.
Ladies and gentlemen, these men are very serious about their training, and we are very privileged to be able to witness some of the training that the North American champion Magnum TA puts himself through. You've got a lot of reason to get in the greatest shape of your life, and I know you're excited to tell the people about that.
Well, that's right. As you well know, I've got probably the toughest test coming upon me now as I get ready to face Hacksaw Butch Reed in defending that North American title. And a lot of people wonder what I do in preparation for such matches. Well, I've asked a couple of friends of mine down here, Terry Taylor and Tommy Rogers. What we're going to do, we're going to go back to basics right here. We're going to show you how we condition ourselves, how we get our timing down, and our agility in the ring. And this is the kind of workouts we do whenever we get the chance.
Great, ladies and gentlemen, there you heard that, and let's see this workout at this time.
All right, so we're just going to fast forward a little bit here. But they have an amateur wrestling workout. TA locks up with Terry Taylor, and they push each other back and forward, and he grapples with young Tommy Rogers. This was not, I emphasize not, Paul Ellering working out with children. For better or worse, it was not Paul Ellering working out with children.
We'll get to it on the back end, but this wasn't bad. This was a very
No, it was not supposed to be like Paul Ellering's thing. Like Paul Ellering's a very flamboyant, funny person. His segment was supposed to be funny and a little goofy. Magnum TA is your North American heavyweight champion. he is not going to come out here playing Pac-Man Fever and doing chin-ups with children. Or it's also possible that Bill Watts learned his lesson to not do that again.
Does Bill Watts learn any lessons? I'm not sure.
If it has something to do with amateur wrestling, he sure does.
Well, there you go.
So while Magnum TA is rolling around the ring with another man in his underwear, the crowd suddenly got way too excited for this. And I'm like, okay, something's got to be happening. Let's go here to Magnum TA rolling around in his underwear, and an excitable occurrence occurring.
On top, and this is tremendous conditioning. You can hear by the crowd that here comes Nature Boy Buddy Landell and Hacksaw Butch Reed.
Hey, fool, what you working out with these two chumps right here? Is that what you call a workout, boy? Why don't you work out with somebody gonna really do you some good, boy? Why don't I just come in there and just pull your arms out by the socket? Take care of her.
Don't get too excited, brother. I don't want you to even break a sweat wrestling this paper champion, this crumb right here. I'll take your place, brother. I'm just gonna play with him. He'll put you in the hospital, boy. But I'm just gonna come out there and beat you and see if you can take me on.
Get down on him, brother. Get down on him. And let the boy have that.
TA is getting down in the referee's position. Landell on top. Let's see if Landell can hold the champion down. About 2 moves and he's already even. He's gone back under and he's set right out from under Buddy Landell, and the crowd loves it. Watch out from behind there. Reed stepping up.
Hey, let me tell you something. Oh, me, that's fine. You think you can handle me? Huh? You think you can handle me, boy? Okay. Come on, Jay, one more time. Jay, one more time. Get down.
Well, Landell going down, referee's position. Let's see if Landell can escape. Set out by Landell, but TA follows him, sucks him right back, and had him in a predicament position. And Buddy Landell went to the ropes. Landell went to the ropes. TA's challenging Reed. Step on in there. Oh, this is a workout. We have a title match signed for the North American Championship. But that's not to take place today. Landell wants out of there.
Come here. Let me tell you something, chump. Let me tell you something, boy. When I come in that ring, you got your little day now. But when I come in that ring, it won't be the workout, sucker. The match is already signed. It'll be for my North American Championship match. And I am gonna take it, and all you people take it to the bank.
This show is full of great heel logic. And this is one of those. Like, Butch Reed comes down and he's going to show Magnum TA. He's going to teach him a lesson. He's going to show what it's like to really be a wrestler. But Buddy Landell went in and got schooled not once but twice. And so Butch Reed is like, oh, I would come in there and kick your ass, but, I'm not here to work out. I'm here to win the title. And it's great heel logic, Trey.
Yeah, the least believable part about this was Buddy Landell volunteering to fight somebody on Butch Reed's behalf.
Why would you say that?
Well, fucking Watt says it every week. This Landell is the kind of guy who just likes to hang out with the big guys, and he's very much the little shit that likes to start fights for his big tough friends to finish.
Well, it's not quite Chris Candido and primetime Brian Lee, but very few things are.
No.
So from here, we got a replay of Hercules running in on last week's tag team title match with a coal miner's glove that he just happened to procure from Crusher Darsow, and assisting the Midnight Express in retaining the tag team titles. And much to my happiness, they did not come out here this week and announce that Hercules was fined $10,000. Because I just had this feeling they were going to pull that, but they did not.
No,
and they
did not.
They inform us that Jim Cornette spent $10,000 to buy the coal miner's glove from Crusher Darsow. And that's not just me being a slip of the tongue. That's what they said. And then they told us, and this is where the title of this episode comes from, the battling is getting very, very intense.
I feel like you could get a coal miner's glove for a lot more reasonable price.
I mean, I think it's the same way as General Skandor Akbar buying wrestlers in world class. He, he's got so much money that, he doesn't think logically like that. And he's not a fan of negotiations. So why bother negotiate when you can just spend a little bit more money and just get it outright? Plus, if you negotiate, there's a chance that, they may take it to someone else.
Akbar got that oil money. He doesn't care.
Yeah. All right. So Jim Cornette has requested some time, and it's going to segue into part of a Jim Duggan promo that we'll play a little bit of until the songs really get going. Let's go to JC and JR.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Cornette has requested some time. Mid-South has been gracious enough to grant it for this statement.
Why don't you give it to me? You know, they asked for no disqualification. We didn't. It was their fault because they asked for it because they wanted to declare open season on me. We wanted to follow the rules. That is why I gave Hercules Hernandez, my bodyguard, $10,000 to give to Crusher Khrushchev to buy his most prized possession, that coal miner's glove. Now, when Duggan attacked me, the first thing on my bodyguard's mind was to save my life. So he came down, he just happened to be holding the glove because we were going to get rid of it. I agreed with Mid-South, so I was going to take the glove out and throw it away someplace so nobody would use it anymore. But you know what the problem with Duggan is? I know for a fact Joel Watts put a little thing together. He put a piece of videotape together on Duggan, but they can't even show it because it shows that Duggan can't beat anybody unless he uses a 2x4. Well, I got contacts at the network, and I got it to show here today. I want to take a look at that thing.
Let's see it right now, ladies and gentlemen.
2 long years have passed since Hacksaw Duggan has come to the Mid-South, and a lot of things have happened. Not to mention what has been going on with Skandar Akbar when I first got here, and what I thought was my good friend Ted DiBiase. Well, a lot of people don't understand exactly what Skandar Akbar's problem was, but this is part of the problem right here. The American flag, something that I stand tall and stand proud for. Skandar Akbar and that whole Iranian situation. Fine, we've got the 52 hostages out, but we lost a lot of men in that failed rescue attempt. And maybe if somebody went back and checked some of the names, they'd understand why Hacksaw Duggan stands so proud for this flag.
All right. So that's as far as we could go before we got into the copyright music territory. It's bad enough that Russia cannot hear this podcast. This podcast would have millions of viewers if poor Russia was able to hear the thing, but it's constantly being blocked in Russia by those bastards in Stanford.
Fucking Putin.
Now, I do wonder, to change the subject entirely, dear YouTube, why are these shows blocked in Russia? Legitimately. It's available to be seen all over the world, but due to copyright reasons, I cannot play it in Russia.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, great. So Jim Cornette points out that the faces are the ones that requested the no disqualification match, and then Jim Cornette, being the magnanimous person he is, the friend to the Mid-South Wrestling territory and the booking office, he was going to buy Crusher Khrushchev's glove, and knowing how dangerous of an object this is, he was going to discard it. To make everything fair for everyone involved, he wasn't going to have this coal miner's glove around. But then Jim Duggan starts attacking Jim Cornette, and Hercules, he's not the smartest guy in the world to begin with, but he saw his man getting beaten up, and he had to run to help, and completely slipped his mind that he had the coal miner's glove on his hand.
What a magnanimous, upstanding gentleman. This is how, when they're trying to get guns off the street, so they'll do like gun buyback programs. That's the kind of magnanimous gesture that that Cornette was doing for Mid-South Wrestling, and he just never gets appreciated.
And a very nice man, him and Hercules Hernandez. Then we got a quick little Jim Duggan promo, and he brought up that when he came to Mid-South 2 years ago, he was a very different man. He was in the Rat Pack with Ted DiBiase and Matt Bourne, and then they did the storyline where DiBiase aligned with General Skandor Akbar and then lied to Duggan about it, and it eventually led to them splitting up.
Yeah, that's
and I guess
look.
I guess what I'm thinking about, because the Rat Pack comes back, spoiler alert, later on. But it's like, I was always shocked that the Rat Pack did not last very long. Like, it wasn't even 6 months, because they really formed at the end of October '82, and they were gone in March of '83, because that's when Matt Bourne got fired and Jim Duggan turned babyface.
Well, yeah, they do come back around. Yep. Arya, look, I know historical literacy wasn't that big in the South in the 80s. But like Joel Watts, we have seen he attended the University of Oklahoma. So he does have some kind of education. And I would assume that he would have taken a history class with some kind of competent professor. And yet he has pushed this song, or put this music video to the song "The South's Gonna Do It Again" by the Charlie Daniels Band. Yes, for Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along Project listeners, that is Tracy Smothers' interest music. For Jim Duggan, the guy from New York who carries the stars and stripes everywhere.
Because that's a song
Joel Watts is kind of a dumbass.
That's a song that makes you a babyface in the South. I'm with you totally. Don't get me wrong, but it's a song that makes you a babyface in the South. And it's funny because I watched the music video, I watched the promos that we were about to go on, and I watched them during break at work, and I went back to work, and I'm like, why do I have Tracy Smothers' song in my head all of a sudden?
It's so funny that you didn't even...
I had to ask you, I'm like, wait, did they play the Tracy Smothers theme during the Jim Duggan video?
I messaged you like early this morning, like 8 o'clock this morning, and you hadn't watched the show yet. I just said Joe Watts is a dumbass, and I recognized it immediately.
I was waiting for, especially when I saw it was Bill and Boyd doing commentary. I'm like, man, what the hell did Joel do at some point during this show?
This fucking Jesus. So
yes, this is from Trae at 8:58 a.m. Eastern time this morning. I'm starting to think Joel Watts is kind of a dumbass. And then an hour and 20 minutes later, that was truly one of the episodes of World Class I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So after the music video, we go back to Dugan, who's still standing in front of the American flag, and that's going to lead to the end of a Jim Cornette promo, too.
I'll get ready myself. I'm proud of this flag. Not too many years ago, it was pretty neat not to be too patriotic. But times have changed. Anytime you stick a flag in someone's grave on 4th of July or Veterans Day, you think of the supreme sacrifice that so many of our brothers, so many of our sisters paid. And so I'm so thankful that I didn't have to pay that sacrifice, but they did it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm standing tall for our flag. God bless America.
Well, I personally think that was another great video. Well, I personally think that was a piece of garbage that shows nothing but Joe Watts, Bill Watts' own son, playing favoritism with Jim Duggan. He used a two-before, in addition to the fact it proves that he's nothing but a redneck country hillbilly. He uses a two-before to beat everybody's brains in. That's what he would have done to me. As a matter of fact, he injured my vocal cords when he choked me like he did. But my bodyguard got a hold of him, and I want to tell you something, Duggan. I hope you enjoyed getting the brains knocked out of you with a glove that was yours in the first place, you big goof. I think we've heard quite enough from Mr. Jim Cornette. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with a Junkyard Dog. against Crusher Khrushchev right after this.
Yeah, he's got a point. It was Big Head's kid that put it together. And of course, they're trying to avoid showing how much of a cheater that Jim Duggan is.
The double standards here in Mid-South Wrestling are just appalling.
He did it his way.
All the good ones are the ones that, all the good music videos are the ones that came from Memphis, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. We then get Junkyard Dog versus Crusher Khrushchev in a winner leaves town match. So ultimately, I didn't think this was a bad match. It certainly was a TV match. Geopolitical Bill Watts ripped on Russia for skipping the 84 Olympics without really acknowledging that the U.S. skipped the 80 Olympics in Russia. And Dog couldn't even go out on his back on his last match. He won with a thumb. And as this show aired on the 11th, he debuted in the WWF yesterday in St. Louis.
Watts implied that Nikolai Volkov disappeared because the Soviets didn't come to the Olympics.
I can't imagine that he's wrong there. I mean, and then Georgia, he may have thought he was going to the country Georgia.
Well, maybe he thought it was 1996 and he was going to the Olympics.
Fuck, there you go. I mean, how far in advance did they announce that Atlanta was getting the 96 games?
Probably not that. Well, I don't know. Maybe. You remember that the Kurt Angle Hulk Hogan match at King of the Ring 2002?
I do. A quite good match.
Remember the build of that match? Angle popping me with a line. In the Olympics, I beat Russians and Iranians a heck of a lot tougher than Nikolai Volkov and the Iron freaking Sheik.
Oh,
that and him saying that he was going to make Hulk Hogan tap like Mr. Bojangles on Speed.
At least it's better than that time he told Rey Mysterio, "I am a man and you are a boy, and this man likes to play with little boys."
There's like a tweet from like, I don't know, like 2011 or whatever about whatever WWE game was coming out that Ray's like, I can't wait to beat my kids.
I do not remember that, but
yes.
Oh God, I just remember when Angle got drunk watching WrestleMania the one year, and he was ripping on everybody while he was in TNA.
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, poor Kurt.
By the way, according to the always reliable Wikipedia, Atlanta was selected as the host of the 96 Olympics on September 18th, 1990 in Tokyo, Japan, defeating Athens, Belgrade, Manchester, Melbourne, and Toronto.
Athens got it in 2004. I don't think any of them else has gotten it.
I guess the 2000 was Sydney, not Melbourne, but that was pretty close. And then 2012 was in London, not Manchester. I honestly am blanking on where Belgrade even is, and it's never been in Toronto. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
it's also, to my knowledge, has never been in Toronto or in Canada at all, actually.
2016 was, I think, Barcelona, and 2020 was supposed to be in Tokyo, but ended up being in 2021.
But it was still the 2020 Summer Olympics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, oh my God, what was I gonna say? I don't know. And I mean, we don't really have to get into this next week because I mean it's happening now. But basically, Dog did not tell Watts he was leaving. He no-showed a week of bookings and told Ernie Ladd that he was sick and was going to miss a few dates. But by the end of the week, they pretty much knew that they pretty much knew what was going on by the end of the week. And then whatchamacallit, we'll see this next week, but they try to talk about how Butch Reed is getting to the Junkyard Dog and he couldn't handle the pressure. And the problem with that is Dog beat Butch Reed about a dozen times in every city. So, it's...
But Reed beat Dog in the Superdome. That's the one that counts.
I guess so. There you go.
So next week is the week that Watts is very in his feelings, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week is when we're going to need another black guy. So up next we had Budrow and Butch Reed versus the PYTs. And hey, if we need another black guy, here's 3 of them. I feel like I've already seen 3/4 of this match recently.
Yeah.
But now keep in mind, Junkyard Dog is still on this show. We just saw him. Did it feel to you like they were setting up a Butch Reed babyface turn during this match at one point?
I didn't really see it, but maybe.
Bill started talking about how Butch may get tired of Buddy with all of Buddy's braggadociousness, and he may decide to branch out on his own, which may have meant nothing. But to me, I was like, that could be the first step into turning him babyface here.
Oh, it could be. I'm sure Reed will be babyface on this show. I don't know, within 6 months.
I was gonna say I'd be shocked if we got to 1985 without Butch Reed as a babyface.
Watts said that Landell was in a car accident and got his head cut and cut promos all the way to the hospital, and that has to be a thing that actually happened because that is far too random for Watts to have made up off the top of his head.
And that's a very Buddy Landell thing to do as well.
Yeah.
In addition to no showing Saturday night because he took an 8-ball the night before and wouldn't get out of bed. Him cutting promos all the way to the hospital, definitely a Buddy Landell thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the heat on Norvell. Norvell makes the hot tag, but Carl Fergie's back was turned. So Fergie forced Coco out of the ring, and the heels won with a double press slam, dropping Norvell on the top rope, and Buddy pinning him with the elbow that he does.
Yeah, wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. Would have loved. I would have liked a little more of it. They only got about 4 minutes.
And it's one of those things that, they went to the expiration of time limit draw. So shouldn't they have been the first match this week? So this way they got plenty of time.
Well, I was going to say the Crusher Khrushchev and Dog match was already signed, but that's a lie.
Yep. Then this is not the end of the show, but then we get a completely random jobber match as Tim Hortons took on the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson. Butch Reed came to ringside to watch, and Jackson actually won a match with a drop kick. He ain't no Jimmy Golden, I must tell you that. Jimmy Golden had one amazing drop kick.
Did you hear what Watts said was scheduled to be the next match?
I did, but I didn't write it down because I figured I'd write it down when it happened. And then it didn't happen.
Art Cruz versus Bob Owens. And that was the point that I wrote. They are really reaching for talent this week. But hey, Mike Jackson got a win on TV. I was happy.
By the way, that's bad Bob Owens to you.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me?
I meant, I'm sorry. I meant sir to Bob Owens. I'm sorry.
Okay. No worries. So after Mike Jackson picked up the win in a relatively short match, Butch Reed has something to say.
This chump right here does a pretty good job against another chump, but he been running around here bragging that he done beat Hacksaw Butch Reed when everybody know that he had to help a sonny, Mr. Bojangles Shoeshine Man King, hit me in the head with a chair and left me out there like filet fish to cover me 1, 2, 3. But I tell you one thing now, sucker, and you got your chance to do it without Sonny King right now, yeah? If you got the guts, boy, I'm right here.
Let me tell you something, Reed. Let me tell you something. I beat you whether you like it or not. And I don't know why. You're the athlete. You got to hide behind the way you wrestle. Look around you. There's class all around you, and you got no class. Well, it sounds like Mike Jackson has accepted that challenge, ladies and gentlemen. We will see how this transpires.
Now, this might be the only time Mike Jackson has ever been given promo time. I have seen Mike Jackson wrestle a lot. I don't remember him getting any promo time.
I don't know, maybe in Continental.
I mean, you don't become the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion without being able to cut a promo or two.
He speaks fluent Alabamian.
So I asked you this on Facebook, but again, our listeners don't have access to our Facebook conversations. Why were Butch Reed and Mike Jackson allowed to make an impromptu match when we see time and again, most recently with Magnum TA and Ernie Ladd, that nope, you can't book a match. Matchmaker Grizzly Smith has to book this match. But Butch Reed and Mike Jackson were allowed to have a sanctioned match.
Well, was it sanctioned? I don't know. There was Ron West, I guess. Okay, we assume that Ron West rang the bell. There was a very awkward jump cut that cut out the bell, and then I looked. Where did you find this on YouTube? Because this was like the 184 episode missing on the playlist that I found.
I rarely like it. It jumped. I didn't think it jumped so much that I had to go and find out a real copy of it.
I just wanted to see, and it wasn't there. But anyway, yeah. Well, obviously, the answer is that Ernie Ladd and Magnum TA were trying to make a title match, and head pedophile Grizzly Smith has to sign off on title matches. But the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Championship was not on the line here. And as Watts always makes sure to specify, when they just decide to have a match, they are not getting paid. Which I hope that they at least slipped Ron West an extra $10 a piece for refereeing their match.
There you go. I think that would be very polite of Butch Reed and the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson for doing such. Yeah. Now, the other thought is maybe Magnum TA is a coward.
And a bum.
Well, that must explain why Ernie Ladd sought him out, because sadly, Ernie Ladd has become a bit of a bum seeker.
I didn't think he would ever want to see another bum after he saw Ed Siegel.
That might be why he hasn't been on TV in like a month. Speaking of him, where the hell did Ernie Ladd go?
I swear, I seriously think that fucking Dundee just like, I don't know, did he go to fucking Australia for a month for the summer vacation and they just brought Ernie Ladd in for that couple of weeks that the TV got really boring?
So Ernie Ladd last wrestled on episode 252. His next TV match is episode 259. So he's going to be here either next week or the week after.
That's exciting.
But yes, but still, it's like there's no time for promo time with Ernie Ladd. Sit under the learning tree, fat dosso. You just dumbed yourself right out of position, Bundy, you fat dummy.
I would just sit under Ernie Ladd's learning tree all day.
I just want to hear him talk all day. Like he could be saying anything.
Yes. Read the phone book.
Arya, what are you doing? Sitting there, listen to me read the phone book. Apparently, he did have several matches with Magnum TA for the North American title, and spoiler alert, he did not win any of them.
Well, he won a North American title match at some point in the past.
He did. He is a former North American champion. And let me see here. Oh my God, I can't. I was looking up, don't ask me why, but I was looking up the show that airs 2 days before my birth. And man, oh man, Maddie, we've got a show here.
Everybody was celebrating the birth of a future Mid-South podcast reviewer.
Funny thing is, they didn't even know when I was going to be born yet, because I was born 2 days later.
Well, but most babies are, within a few days. I was about 4 days early.
I honestly don't know how early or late I was. I do know that Butch won with a Gorilla Press Slam, though. And I think it's funny, like they keep mentioning from time to time that, Mike Jackson beat Butch Reed, which is not what happened. That was when what's his name came down and thwacked Butch Reed with a chair and put Mike Jackson on top of him, which did not count.
I actually had to look up what happened and just found the result that Reed won by DQ and put it together.
All right. So from here, remember last week, Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, was given back the TV title medal because he's not enough of a man to go take it from Dr. Death Steve Williams. So he had to have Business Daddy go get it back for him. Well, it's been a week. Dr. Death Steve Williams has been stewing a bit, and he has requested some time with Jim Ross to explain his thoughts on the matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Dr. Death Williams has requested some time here on Mid-South to make a special announcement.
Jim Ross, this is a special press conference. I just want to recap what's gone on here in the past few weeks in Mid-South against Terry Taylor and me. I took the medal away from the Russian. I was man enough to take it away from him. Second of all, I was man enough to give him a second chance. Now, Terry Taylor, I have nothing to take away from him. He's a great athlete. He beat Khrushchev in the Superdome, but he wasn't man enough to take the medal away from me, and he's not man enough to beat me in the square circle. So, I've decided that Steve Dr. Death Williams has to think of an award, and I have thought of an award, and I'll tell everybody about that award next week in Mid-South, because it's going to go to the toughest man in the square circle, and that's me, Dr. Death.
Steve, Dr. Death Williams rather upset about that board meeting that Mid-South took the medal away from him. Now let's go back to the desk and Cowboy Bill Watts.
Now, the one thing, and I don't know if maybe Doc was told not to mention this, because it would make Terry Taylor, who's a babyface and a little bitch, look more like a little bitch. But not only did Terry Taylor not get the medal from him, Terry Taylor never even tried. There was never even a... Hmm?
Doc is still not understanding that he has no right to things that he stole.
I mean, that is true. But I mean, I'm legitimately, I know we joke about Terry Taylor being a little bitch, but he never even tried to get the medal back. He had to be given it by the company. Like, it's not even like he tried and failed. It's like he just was like, okay, Doc, well, please give me my medal. And Doc's like, no. And Terry's like, okay, Doc, please give it to me.
Yeah, Terry Taylor, by the way, also a stooge.
He is a stooge and a little bitch. And the next 2 weeks of TNA, he is all fucking over that show. However,
Fun.
if you like people making Terry Taylor out to be a little bitch, watch the show, because Kid Cash, who is a foot shorter than him, really makes Terry Taylor look like a little bitch.
Yeah, that checks out.
By the way, we're on a streak over on TNA. We've now had like 5 or 6 not bad shows in a row, and that's including the next 2 weeks that Cindy and I have already taped.
You're shitting in hot cotton now.
Yeah. Although it turns out it's because even though Dipshit and Main Event Glenn Gilberti are still writing the first draft of the show, Jerry Jarrett has taken a much bigger role in editing the first draft. So that's why we still get a smattering of Vince Russo brand bullshit, but mixed in with some actual good shit that you're like, wow, I want to watch this more.
Yeah, because we all know that Jerry Jarrett book shows never had silly bullshit on them.
I mean, not at all, but you know the difference between something Vince Russo books and
yes.
anybody else.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
It's like how like people who pay attention knew that Russo was back in TNA in like 2013, if for no other reason than they kept doing the knockout segments where everyone was a bitch and yelling at each other. because that is the Vince Russo staple that all women hate each other.
Yeah.
I can't imagine she ever watched wrestling. But what do you think Vince Russo's wife ever thought about all that? Like, I'm sure she liked the money that came with the job and whatnot. She may not have liked, having to move to Connecticut, then to Georgia, then I think they live in Indiana now. But I'm sure she liked the money that they got. But like, what do you think? Like, if she ever tuned in and saw that what her husband did for a living was have women yell and scream at each other and call each other bitches nonstop, and how they aren't pretty without tons of makeup on, what do you think she would think?
I have never met Mrs. Russo, and I have never really heard anything about her. But I have to judge people based on what I know of them, and I know that she's married to him, so I assume that she's no prize herself.
Now, Jim Cornette actually did at one point say that she is a very nice lady.
Okay. I remember him saying that Russo's kids were little fucking assholes, which that checks out.
I don't remember him saying that. I just remember Russo's kids being on an awful TNA segment.
No,
I know, shocking, but
no,
yeah.
this was like 97, that it was like a cookout or something at maybe Bruce Pritchard's house. And fucking
Okay.
Cornette was sleeping in the hammock, and Russo's kids shot him with a fucking super soaker.
Okay. All I'll say is that Russo's kids would have been like 9 and 10 years old at that time. I'm not saying you shouldn't have discipline and you shouldn't have been like, okay, let the guy sleep, but they were like 9 and 10 at the time. Like, I don't, I
Arya,
like I'm
if I
sure.
if I at 10 years old had gone around shooting adults with a water gun at a function that my parents were at, somebody would have slapped the shit out of me.
Well, I mean, that's fine, but like, would let's say you hit somebody or hit somebody, you soak somebody to the super soaker when you were 9, and 30 years, or not even 30 years later, 20 years later, you were still being judged based on something you did when you were 9. Like, I don't know Russo's kids; they may be lovely, grown up, mature young adults, and are contributors to society. I just have a hard time judging them when they were 9 years old for something that they did, or judging them now for something they did when they were 9. You know what I mean?
I wasn't judging them now. I was judging them when they were 9. They were little
Well,
assholes.
no, but I'm saying, like, we mentioned that Cornette said that about his kids because they were little assholes when they were like 9 years
He
old.
was
But it's like,
talking that about 9. He wasn't saying in fucking
yeah,
2025. I'm sure he hasn't spoken to them probably since that day.
didn't Russo's one kid work in the TNA production truck at some point?
Did
Although I
he?
don't
I
know
have no
when
idea.
exactly that was.
I had never heard of anything about Russo's kids other than that he has them.
We're aware that he has children. What they do otherwise, who knows and who cares? Um, so this is another of those times where that this is not your daddy's Mid-South Wrestling. This is not the Ernie Ladd book Mid-South Wrestling. There are 6 minutes left on the show. 6 minutes! And we are informed that that is not enough time for another match.
Oh, we didn't get Art
Maybe,
Cruz versus Bad Bob Owens.
well, their time was taken by Butch Reed and the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson.
So did they get paid? Did they get their show money at least?
I like that they got their per diem. They didn't get their winner's share of the purse or anything.
Nah.
I'd like to think that if they didn't get paid, that they should pull a Rick Rude and leave the company because they were drawing this show off of their names being on the show and, not getting paid the main event money.
I mean, look, if there's no Art Cruz, there's no asses in the seats.
I just always love the people who to this day will still argue that the last match is the main event. It's like the last match is maybe the main event. It usually is the main event, but it's not necessarily the main event. It's just the last match. The main event is the match that draws the crowd. Let's pretend you could actually buy tickets to this show. Mike Jackson versus who the hell did he wrestle first? Tim Hortons. That was the last scheduled match to air. That is not the main event.
Which is like fucking like Bruno in the Garden was the fucking main event, but they put it on before intermission so they could announce the return match during intermission.
Yeah.
This
exactly.
shit. This is just fucking typical like people who have grown up on Vince McMahon wrestling and they don't know anything about anything. It's just like all of a sudden, wrestling promoters have been promoting double and triple main events for fucking decades. But all of a sudden, when AEW did a pay-per-view with a triple main event, people started throwing a fucking tantrum about it.
Because it's AEW. AEW
exactly.
equals automatic tantrum.
Exactly.
But it's like, and I always thought about this, like, I love Edge, and if he wants to tell himself that he was in the main event of WrestleMania because he was in the last match, I am not going to go up to him and tell him otherwise. But that match with The Undertaker, while it was the best match on the show, it was at best the fourth most important match on the show. Because that was when they had Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair in Flair's last match. That was Cena, Orton, and Triple H for the title. That was Floyd Mayweather versus The Big Show. Those matches were all much more important than Edge versus The Undertaker.
Oh my God. If there is one time that I could go back and give past me a quality camera phone, I had a friend that I used to watch pay-per-views with who he was a wheelchair user. He had cerebral palsy. And he hated Randy Orton. And when Orton won that match, my buddy Jason just about flipped his shit, and it was the funniest fucking thing I have ever seen.
It was not expected because, I mean, ultimately Vince realized that all four main events were too predictable, and the only match he could change the finish on was that. So yes. Hunter had to wait another month to get his title belt.
So that I will always have a soft spot for that match for that reason.
I love that finish where it's like, I think it was Hunter hit the pedigree on Cena and the referee's counting 1, 2, and Orton runs in with the kick head.
Yeah, that was a great finish.
Yeah. So by the way, the point that we're trying to get to before I went off on a wild tangent, as I'm wont to do, instead of getting a match or two in the last 6 minutes, we got a fantastic music video with them at the gym. And the Fantastics are dicks. You know that? They were given the little sheet to fill out to sign up for a membership. And instead of taking the time to fill it out and be good citizens, they just took a black magic marker and wrote in big letters, "The Fantastics," and handed it back in.
Look, everybody knows.
Got thrown out for that.
I hope everybody knows that I have no prejudice against anyone for their sexual preferences. So I'm not saying this as a bash. It's purely just to quote one of my professors in grad school, we have to have words that mean things. This video was so fucking gay.
They were in a step above their underwear.
This was the Thrill Seekers video from SMW, but really homoerotic.
At least Lance and Chris wore shirts. Somehow that made it better.
Yes. That would have been better here.
Oh, Lord. And, like, pro wrestling is already a very homoerotic thing. As I joked earlier, when Magnum TA and Terry Taylor were, amateur wrestling, two men in their underwear were pushing each other around.
Yes.
But, yeah, this in 1984, this was a very gay video.
It was gay in 2025 too.
Yes. Then we go back to the desk, and Bill brings up Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair. Weren't they supposed to be on this show?
I told you it's the new Mil Mascaras. That's the Mil Mascaras of this quarter. The thing that's going to be. They said it'll be next week, which means it'll be in, I don't know, 4 more weeks.
Where's the popular little girl wrestlers?
Oh,
That
the
that
little
was the
midget girl
all-time
wrestlers.
best. Was like they were on like 3 months later.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. But next week, one of the most speaking of gay, by the way, one of the most unusual wrestlers will be introduced onto Mid South next week. Adrian Street will debut via videotape.
Hey, I'm down with that. Adrian Street's awesome.
Adrian Street is great, but after that Fantastics promo, and we're now we're getting more gay.
I bet that's why he's
Mid-South,
coming.
I think it must be Pride Month.
It's August.
I mean, I don't know. Did Louisiana have Pride Month in 1984?
Does Louisiana have Pride Month in 2020?
I'll bet you my left arm they did not. But if they did, it might have been in August.
Maybe.
Which is kind of funny because, like, Mardi Gras is this ultimate celebration of people and, and like you all come together to celebrate in New Orleans and just be yourself and be over the top. But yeah. Anywho, that's
Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras actually does have like a religious basis and stuff, right?
I don't know.
It's what?
I never went to Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras is French. It means Fat Tuesday. And it's 40 days before Lent. So that's like you do Mardi Gras and you get all your crazy out, and then you give up whatever you're giving up for Lent for it's 40 days, right? Yeah.
We always had Donut Day around that time.
Can't blow Donut Day. Have you ever had a king cake, Arya?
I don't believe so, Trae.
Okay, if you get one from like the grocery store, it's okay. It's kind of like a fancy cinnamon roll. But if you get like a really good king cake, that shit is delicious. It's a Mardi Gras thing, and it's like it's the thing. There's a little plastic figure of a baby in there, and if you get the baby, you got to buy the next king cake. It's a whole thing.
Have you ever had a malasadas?
No, I haven't. What's that?
It's essentially like a big flat donut with powdered sugar on top. It's Portuguese. It means wrongly baked. And if you looked at it, like, yeah, this is a wrongly baked donut. And what was that?
And just to keep the New Orleans link, it sounds like a Portuguese take on a beignet.
I don't know what a beignet is.
Very fluffy little pastry things covered in powdered sugar.
This is all more interesting than World Class, by the way. But speaking of World Class, we can't finish it if we don't start it. Let's go to the intro of the show with Bill Mercer.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling from the world-famed Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us, and we have a tremendous main event. It features the exciting young man from Denton County, Texas, Kevin Von Erich, challenging for the American Heavyweight Championship against that champion, the happy half-breed from Highland Park, Gino Hernandez. That's our main event, and we have other great wrestlers on World Class Championship Wrestling. Rock and Roll Zumhoff, Buddy Roberts, and many more. And we'll be right back with The Missing Link and George Weingroff next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
There is so much wrong with this show, it's not even funny. We'll get to it later, but first of all, I mean, well, might as well say it now since I, previewed it. The audio track is off. Like, the audio track is way above the arena's volume track throughout the entire show, to the point you could barely hear the arena audio.
Yeah, I did. Honestly, there was so many other annoying things about this show that I didn't even really notice that.
Yeah. And then Mercer, did he not comb his hair? Did he not shave his beard or trim his beard this week? Did they roll him out of bed to do the commentary on this week's show?
He was scraggly. Like he hadn't shaved in about a week.
It's possible he was with Kevin Von Erich last night, but I don't know how he got here. Because Kevin, spoiler alert, Kevin doesn't show up here at all. He no shows. And I have some issues with that.
I bet I can guess one of the issues.
I'm sure you can guess at least one. But our main event is scheduled to be the exciting young man from Denton County, Texas, Kevin Von Erich, versus the happy half-breed from Highland Park, Gino Hernandez. Why can't we get Gino Hernandez's nickname right? It's the handsome half-breed.
Well, presumably he's happy as well.
Half-breed is all I ever know.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
So then we go to the start of the match, or the start of the show, well, after Bill Mercer's thing, and drunk Mark Lawrence is apparently in rehab this week. Now, you could say, oh, he was on vacation. Well, when he's on vacation, we get told he's on vacation. He's just not here at all this week, leading to the obvious theory that he must be in rehab.
Now, see, I guess you were more generous than I was. I assumed he was on a bender.
You're nice. I guess that there'd be reason to not mention that either. So who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe he was on a bender. That tracks. For
I hope he was in rehab.
Drunk Mark Lawrence. Yeah,
it'd be better for him.
Yep. I wrote the other guy is doing ring announcing because it wasn't until like 20
Ralph
minutes into
Pulley.
the show that they said his name. Yeah. It's Ralph Pulley. We'll get to that. That's not even my worst, most egregious statement of the show where I didn't know who somebody was. And I'll be interested to know if you know who it is when we get to that point.
But I know who it wasn't.
I bet it was the same person I thought it was, but we'll wait till that point. So we get Mr. George Weingroff's penis versus Max with General Skandor Akbar. We're informed that George Weingroff needs corrective glasses to maneuver, which must explain why he's a jobber. And this is where I note that the commentary track and the arena track were not synced up properly this week, because you could barely hear the crowd and the ringside situation. Mercer plugged the Superdome show, which, I mean, at this point, why the hell not? Why wouldn't Bill Mercer be plugging the Superdome show coming up in a couple weeks? Max won was what was called a flying smash to the midsection. The rest of us would call it a headbutt.
This was as good as a 3-minute match was going to be, I guess.
Yeah. And, Penis got in a lot of offense, or at least more offense than you'd expect. And I just always think it's funny because they do the close-up on World Class that they don't really do in Mid-South, or don't do as close-up in Mid-South, where you can really see Weingroff's fucked up eyes.
Yeah. Look, I know a lot of blind people, and sometimes they got weird eyes.
You know more than the average number of people.
I know way more blind people than the average sighted person knows.
Much like how I know more drag queens than the average human being.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's why I just assumed everybody in the world was taller than me, because every drag queen is like 6'4" plus heels.
Yeah.
So then we had to skip forward about 10 minutes due to the Buck Zumhoff rule. And I have an issue with you, Trey.
What's that?
Every time I watch World Class First, I go and tell you how far ahead you can skip. I tell you, okay, you're going to skip ahead to 1837 or whatever. Meanwhile, I had to sit here and constantly press pause or press play every couple seconds just to make sure I didn't go too far. And even then, I ended up going too far and had to go back.
I apologize. I fell asleep at the switch on that. I
You
never
never were
watched
the
these
first
shows
person to
before
watch it?
you. Yeah, I never watched these shows
Yeah.
before you.
Between the two TNA shows, Forbidden Door, and then recording the two TNA shows,
Yeah.
I did not have time over the weekend to watch any extra wrestling.
I got up early this morning and I had doctor's appointments this afternoon, so yeah.
Actually, probably have to watch Smoky Mountain tonight after we finish this.
Mm.
So let's go now to Ralph Pulley, who has a major announcement. His name honestly should be Rolf. That's a better name, is Rolf.
Yeah.
This next event, I have a major announcement to make involving the American heavyweight title match. Kevin Von Erich has been delayed in Phoenix, Arizona. Therefore, he has authorized his brother Mike Von Erich to take his place to wrestle Gino Hernandez, and Gino Hernandez has accepted the challenge by Mike. Therefore, it'll be the American heavyweight title match will be between Mike Von Erich and the champion Gino Hernandez.
Why is Kevin Von Erich allowed to authorize his replacement when he no-showed the show?
Because he's a Von Erich.
And hey, everyone talks about how Kevin Von Erich later in his career would always no-show shows. Well, here he is no-showing well before later on in the 80s.
There you go. Maybe that's what. Maybe that's why he was in Phoenix. He was doing whatever that he did when he no-showed in the later 80s.
And actually, he had such a bad reputation that when they sold World Class to Jerry Jarrett, there was a stipulation that Jerry could fire him and Kerry if they no-showed.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently Kevin is stuck in Phoenix, and so Mike is going to challenge Gino Hernandez for the Americas title. Out of all the brothers, why would you pick Mike? Honestly, I think David Manning Von Erich could have been a better option.
Was Kerry not there?
I mean, that's my assumption.
No, Kerry is in Shreveport waiting to wrestle Ric Flair and is confused.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. Then we get Buddy Roberts versus Chief Jewel Strongbow. And I'll be honest, I was looking at the clock at this point, we're 19 minutes into a 42-minute show, and I'm like, oh my God, are they going to make Mike Von Erich go 15 minutes? They cannot make that poor bastard go 15 minutes at this point. And no, instead they had these two people go 15 minutes. I mean, it wasn't 15, it's probably closer to 12, but still, they had a perfectly, more than perfectly adequate. I thought this was a good match.
This might be the best Jewel Strongbow match I have ever seen.
I mean, very low bar, but yeah.
And yeah, they went about 12 minutes, but yeah, it looked. Buddy was so good that he could work with anybody, and yeah, he did in fact manage to make Jewel Strongbow interesting for 12 minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter, and I'll ask you this. Who is the more underrated Freebird, Buddy Roberts or Michael Hayes? And ultimately, I think it comes down to this. It comes down to, do you only respect Buddy Roberts if, let me rephrase that. Do you only respect people who had runs in major national companies? Because in that case, then Buddy Roberts is underrated. And I think that's where a little bit of my bias came in, because it really wasn't until I went back to watch all this World Class that I realized just how great Buddy Roberts was. And in the same sense, the same thing for Michael Hayes, even though he did have multiple runs in major companies, because he's a song and dance man. So it's no, Michael Hayes wasn't very good in the ring. He was just a song and dance man. He was the honky tonk man for all intents and purposes. Though Hayes was good, Buddy Roberts is great, and I mean Terry Gordy. Everyone has always acknowledged how great Terry Gordy was.
Yeah, Hayes is weird because, like, by the time he's in WCW at 89, he's not great.
He's collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, and he's also working babyface, and it just Hayes is such a natural heel. Him working babyface is just wrong.
Well, he doesn't have a babyface for. Well, I guess he was there for like a year, but I was gonna say they had the he turned heel on Luger in like the March of '89. But then like there was that weird run, and it's like, and you kept asking me when you were playing Pro Wrestling Sim, were the Freebirds baby faces or heels? And there's no real answer to that because they never really had a babyface turn, but they were more like a tweener leaning heel. Like they were heels, but they could put them against other heels like Doom or when the Young Pistols turned heel. And they would be the babyface of the match, but they would still be heels. It really wasn't until I think around the time Watts came in '92 that they officially became baby faces. And even then, I don't think that was for long because Hayes was a heel with the Dangerous Alliance towards the end of '92. So it's like
I got to get back. I got to get back on that TEW save. I was so close to Starcade before I got distracted.
You mean PWS? Or you
Yeah,
mean
what
TEW?
did I say?
You said TEW.
I meant PWS, but yeah.
But anyway, according to Mercer, Jake Roberts is coming in, and he will give us plenty of excitement and pleasure.
So the most appalling thing about this, and it was a problem throughout the show, and I've said it before, the fucking ring announcer should not be the bell ringer. That especially is the case if the ring announcer is Ralph Pulley, because he was keeping time, he just wasn't ringing the fucking bell.
I didn't even notice. Apparently next week we're gonna have a fucking fight, but I don't know if this is the fight that, like, literally I just saw Dave talking about this on Twitter today. Terry Gordy's gonna wrestle Killer Khan next week, but apparently at some point they have a Texas Death Match that's apparently one of the best matches of the '80s, and I'm fairly certain that is not the match next week. But to be honest, I am like, because I mean, again, Killer Khan, I'm not expecting great things from him. I'm a little shocked to hear that Killer Khan was in something called one of the best matches of the '80s. So
It's Gordy.
It's very possible. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that he's just the right opponent on the right day and things of that nature. Like, remember when fucking Big Show and Sheamus had like all those really good fucking matches? Like, who the hell would have guessed that Sheamus and the fucking Big Show were going to have great chemistry? That could be what we have here.
Yeah.
First time anyone has ever compared Terry Gordy and Killer Khan to Sheamus and the Big Show.
That's what you get here on Something Else.
So to be fair, Sheamus was always better than he got credit for, I thought. The problem is, like, especially during that period, A, he wasn't Daniel Bryan, and B, he was Triple H's workout partner.
Yeah, he always got more shit than he deserved. I have always been a Sheamus fan.
Yes. My mother, she when I had to do what every successful mid-20s person does and move back in with their parents, I forced my mother to watch wrestling a lot at the time. And that was when Sheamus moved from ECW to Raw. And we were like half paying attention to Raw. And she said to me, "Who is Sheamus the Butts?" Because they had a graphic that said Sheamus debuts. And so she thought his name was Sheamus the Butts.
That's funny.
Yes. So he was Sheamus the Butts for the longest time.
That's
anyway, Skip Young will also be returning soon, and which is always a pleasure to have him around, according to Bill Mercer. Let's see here. Strongbow kicked Buddy in the groin while he was tied in the ropes at one point, but biased ass David Manning Von Erich is biased against the Freebirds even when his brothers are not in the match. And then Jules won with a fucking chop to the face.
I mean, I probably a legitimate win right there. I knocked the fuck out.
And it's funny because Buddy put his foot on the ropes after the 3, but like no one acknowledged it. Yeah. So then we got our main event, American champion Gino Hernandez, who's also the Texas champion, even though he never has the Texas title belt, versus Mike Von Erich. Just a reminder that Gino Hernandez is your champion. Now, Gino was understandably preparing for another opponent. And so, especially early on in the match, he had issues where Mike was able to take advantage because Gino was mentally preparing for someone else. Now, personally, if I was Gino and they came to me and said, hey, Kevin is not going to be able to make it, would you be willing to wrestle Mike? I would be like, sure, but I'm not going to put the title on the line because is Mike really worthy of a title match?
Now, Gino's a fighting champion. He'll fight anybody.
Well, we saw what happened with Jimmy Garvin when he did that. He lost.
Well,
Gino Hernandez, being the man that he is, the champion that he is, was able to use superior ability to take advantage, courtesy of a Greco-Roman hair pull and the Old Glory eye rake. Sorry, I channeled my inner Kevin Nash there. Gino was apparently looking around for his nemesis, Stella Mae French. Okay. At this point, I'm like, is Bill Mercer confusing Gino Hernandez with Jimmy Garvin? When the hell has Gino Hernandez's nemesis been Stella Mae French?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Apparently, it happened on the Fort Worth show, I imagine, because some random woman from the crowd, because I saw her then walk back into the crowd after the match ended, some random woman from the crowd walked up to the timekeeper's table and started talking to Ralph Pulley, and this distracted Gino Hernandez, because, I mean, hey, a fan jumped the guard rope. I would also be distracted, not knowing what this fan was going to do. And I that I popped Trae by calling it the guard rope.
I thought you were going to say that why would an attractive woman be talking to Ralph Pulley?
I didn't really get a good look at her, so I'm not sure if she was an attractive woman or not.
Look, okay, I'm not. Stella Mae French is great, but this young lady was
she was no
younger
Stella Mae
and
French.
nice, younger and nice,
more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Briscoes did that YouTube video saying that they're not aesthetically pleasing?
Yes. Oh my god.
So I wrote Gino was. Go ahead.
Oh, my favorite was Terry Funk ain't wearing no damn mouthpiece. I say that at least once a day.
I want to believe you confused the hell out of all your coworkers.
I don't really have coworkers.
Anybody you have to drive around. I imagine your wife is very confused about
the people I drive around
Terry Funk.
Everybody honestly is used to me mentioning Terry Funk.
Do they at least know who Terry Funk is?
They know he don't wear no damn mouthpiece.
That's good, I guess. So Gino was distracted, as I wrote, by some random lady at ringside, and Mike cheated, rolling up Gino for the pin, and he probably had 2 hands full of tights.
I did not expect this, and then I felt dumb because I should have expected it.
Yeah,
Mike debuted Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It is August.
Yeah.
By the way,
I mean,
does Does Mike have to give Gino the physical belt back the next time Gino has to defend the Texas heavyweight title?
I'd say yes. Um, then let me just tell you what I wrote down. We were informed that Mike's friends have come out to celebrate with him. Who were Mike's friends? A pedophile, some black guy, and George Weingroff's penis.
Honestly,
I started
the...
writing Iceman. I started writing Iceman King Parsons, but it was not Iceman King Parsons.
You know what? If you took out Zumhoff, that'd be a hell of a smoke circle.
Some black guy, George Weingroff's penis, and Mike Von Erich.
Yeah, you know what? Every black guy in the territory. Give me well, this is world class. Give me Norvell and Coco.
I was gonna say, who was that guy? Was it Norvell?
I think it was Norvell.
It was not Iceman, despite what I tried writing.
I would think I kind of remember, and I think it was Norvell. But if it was a black guy on this show and you didn't recognize it as Coco or Iceman, it was Norvell.
Probably. I mean, Norvell's got to get his screen time in this week.
Now watch it be an entirely different black guy, and I'm going to get canceled.
Oh, we're both getting canceled for this one.
Wow.
I wrote Mike has made some lifelong friendships here in Dallas. A blind guy, a pedophile, and a black guy no one can identify.
I could make a terrible joke, but I'm not going to.
What, that Mike looked very young?
No, that Mike doesn't have a whole lot of life to
Oh, boo!
I'm sorry.
I was going to make a note that George Weingroff did not know who he was celebrating with. He was told go down, follow Zoomhoff, and just go stand on the apron and pump your fists in celebration.
Well, George Weingroff's a very amiable, celebratory fellow.
Gino tried cutting a promo, but this biased ass company went to commercial instead of letting Gino talk.
Appalling.
And then we came back and the show was over.
I didn't know that this happened. I wasn't surprised in retrospect. I guess I didn't know that Mike won the American title fucking 9 months in. It's just there's a reason that this territory is about to be on a very extended downswing.
I mean, it's like they have so many titles and like they don't really mean anything. Like they do, but they don't. Like we have so many titles, they're constantly changing hands. We have no idea what ever happened to the fucking TV title that Brian Adias held. That because they stopped telling us on Mid-South who the TV champion was here in World Class.
Yeah, well, they only acknowledged that on the Fort Worth TV.
Yeah, they've literally never had the TV title here on this show.
No. Yeah, the titles in Mid-South are better. Even like the fucking Louisiana and Mississippi heavyweight titles are better than this.
Oh, definitely. Even though like they disappeared without any notice, And I used to make jokes all the time about how the Mississippi title was being sanctioned in Louisiana, which didn't make any sense to me. But, By the way, speaking of Brian Adias, what the hell ever happened to Brian Adias?
I fuck if I know.
Let me see. Let's see, what is this? August of 1984. What the hell is Brian Adias doing? Things that nobody has ever asked. So actually, Brian Adias has left us. And by that, I don't mean he died. I mean that he's been in Mid-Atlantic for a little while now. Actually, more than a little while. Now I'm starting to think like it was like a pipe dream that he was ever in World Class.
No, he was here, but yeah, he is in Crockett right now.
He came in well, I guess he came in before David died, but I seem to remember it was because David died, but that wasn't it apparently. So let's see here. August 11th, 1984, the world-class television champion right now is gentleman Chris Adams.
Well, how about that?
Yes.
Fine,
How
fine,
about that?
upstanding gentleman.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil things on a show that we don't watch, but he's about to lose that title to Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, how about? Hey, at least somebody interesting is coming into the territory.
Yeah, Billy Jerk Haynes. He'll be here in January.
Oh, Jeebus.
I thought I would break you with that.
Yeah, yeah.
The sad thing
Well,
is, Mike is not that long away from getting sick, which means that since Mike is not that far away from getting sick, we are not that far away from Fritz's nephew Lance coming in.
man, exciting. Gonna be an exciting year
Yeah.
for us.
1985.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man, Maddie, that should be fun. At least we'll have Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams.
Yes, yes, there is that.
Yeah. So I know you've been trying to avoid most wrestling news because by seeing wrestling news, you automatically see what all you see like spoilers for shows you don't want to see. But have you seen what happened with Quentin Rampage Jackson's kid?
Yes, yeah, that was fucking. What the fuck was that?
It's so fucking confusing. Apparently, he was at the show and he was backstage, and so Psycho Stu, or is that his name? Um,
Yeah, something like that.
yes, Psycho Stu. Um, apparently he must have thought that he was one of the boys, and he did something like he hit him with a beer can or something, and this guy freaked the fuck out and had to be calmed down, and eventually he got talked into being part of the show. So, and he apparently this dumbass, he filmed the whole fucking thing, and it was I don't know if it still is, but at least was on YouTube not that long ago. The whole fucking show, along with this incident, and apparently, like I guess he was supposed to go in and throw a work punch to Psycho Stu, and he proceeded to lift him up and slam him down, like this was an MMA fight and then punched him apparently no less than 21 times and fucked the poor guy up. And he had to be pulled off. And yeah. And apparently Knox Pro, which is the company that this was through, they were affiliated with the WWE ID program. Well, that's not a thing anymore. They had their affiliation pulled. And the Los Angeles Police Department is investigating this.
Yeah, that appeared to be a felonious assault.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I found out about it kind of because I'm friends on Facebook with Ricardo Rodriguez, and he wrote something on Sunday morning, something to the effect of "Get well, Stu" or something, and I'm like, "What the hell happened to Stu Grayson?" And then I saw what happened, and like, holy fuck! And apparently, like this guy Stu lost a lot of teeth, like a
God
lot.
damn.
Yeah. See, yeah, and it, yeah, that is just fucked up, dude. It's fucked up, dude.
This whole thing just seemed like, goddamn. Brett Lauderdale heard that shit and said, "What the fuck are you people doing?"
Oh Lord. Um. So yeah, and apparently the American dollars took a tumble today. The value of the American dollar after Trump fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. And It caused the dollar to plummet today. So thank you.
I've been shuffling what money I can spare into cryptocurrency just in case.
Trying to see how it converts to Canadian dollars right now.
Yeah, good idea.
So speaking of shows you're not going to watch, so I don't worry about spoiling it for you. The double title reign of JC Jane has come to an end. Like barely a month after she won the Knockouts title at Slammiversary, she lost it to Ash by Elegance. The former Dana Brooke is now the TNA Knockouts champion.
Well, good for her, I guess. How is she? Like, I don't know. I always thought she was like kind of all right. How's she doing?
I mean, she's a lot better character than she is a wrestler. And I've said this at the
Okay.
beginning. They've really increased the group, but her and Personal Concierge are a fantastic duo. And they've since added Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance for a whole little trio here. You
They
know,
should bring
I
back
don't want to
Caleb
say.
with a K.
Well, I don't want to say that they're the beautiful people, but to some degree, that's what they are now, is the beautiful people.
Is Trick Williams still the TNA World Champion?
He is, and I imagine, and I haven't watched since the show I was at, he's probably got a date with Mike Santana at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I had
which,
assumed
which,
that would be the match.
which is in Lowell, Massachusetts, which
Oh,
is the next big show that I'm planning on going to.
yeah.
Although they have announced one match for that show, and I know it's not one that you yourself are particularly looking forward to.
Who was it? Moose versus Bully Ray?
You at least got one of the participants right. It is one last time the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. Or
That
in TNA
sounds
parlance, the Hardys versus Team 3D.
that sounds fucking dreadful.
And it's apparently for the titles because the Hardys are the champions.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. They won them in the four-way ladder match. I don't know. Like, I get, hey, here's the thing. They didn't do a goddamn thing ladder related during that match. But why the hell do they keep booking the fucking Hardy Boys in ladder matches?
You
Like,
remember when they did the one with the Young Bucks and the Bucks like had to do all the shit because the Hardys were
yes.
going to WrestleMania the next day?
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that one. I was thinking about the one that Tony Khan. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony Khan tried to book. It wasn't supposed to be like a three-way ladder match with the Young Bucks, and I think it was Swerve in Our Glory, and then that's when Jeff I don't know if he went. I don't think he went to rehab, but like Jeff was in a really bad place and had to step away.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been the last time Jeff Hardy was on AEW. I could be
Yeah,
wrong, but I
that was
think that.
well. The last one was when he got the concussion in the match against Sammy Guevara, wasn't it?
Why is Sammy Guevara always in matches where people get concussions? Especially with people whose last name is Hardy. Sammy Guevara is
Yeah.
not allowed to wrestle anybody named Hardy.
Don't bring ACH in.
At least don't name. At least don't have him do a shoot name. Um. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. You got anything interesting going on?
Not that I want to talk about on the air. It's something happened today that was very unexpected, and
Huh.
we'll talk about it off the air. Oh my God. So my new fucking car. So I I don't get all this shit because it was all done for me when I bought my first car. So you tell me if this is standard operating procedure. But apparently the car company is unable to speak to my insurance company about getting all the paperwork filled out to get my title and everything taken care of. So I am in the fucking middle of having to go between conversation between my insurance company and the car lot, getting them paperwork, getting them information so they could apply for my title and my registration.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I asked, I'm like, can't you just do this yourselves? They're like, no, we can't. I'm like, why the hell not? Like, Jesus Christ.
Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
But anyway, I don't know. Life is kind of boring lately. I saw a couple movies over the weekend. Um, that
Um,
nothing. Go ahead.
I I have officially, unofficially, sort of resumed work on my doctoral dissertation.
Awesome sauce. How are you
We'll
holding
see.
up?
Um, I am really struggling right now with because I about 4 years I just flamed out and didn't do anything. So I get engaged and I get about, 45 minutes to an hour of good work in, and my brain is just exhausted. But yeah, just a little bit at a time, and we'll see what
Don't
happens.
overdo it. Take
Yeah.
your time, my friend. Um, we have to have you here as a doctor on the show, a doctor of
Yeah.
wrestling history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so I saw Honey Don't on Friday night. That was a damn good movie.
I don't know anything about it. What was it about?
Um, it's about this private investigator and she has sex with Aubrey Plaza.
Okay,
Um,
I'm in.
yeah, and she's investigating a murder, and it's a very, very interesting little film.
It sounds interesting.
By the way, and I'm not saying this because I'm a prude, but when did it become a big deal to allow nudity on movies these days? Because I've seen a bunch of movies recently that were not porn, that were in actual real movie theaters with full-blown nudity.
It's a good time. Good time for movies. Need to start watching movies again.
I also saw Freakier Friday, and Lindsay Lohan was not naked in that. Nor was
I,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I was gonna say that's unfortunate, but I'm not sure if it is. Jamie Lee Curtis can still get it.
She is still a very attractive woman. Wasn't she the one that was doing the commercials for that yogurt that helps you go?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I wish she had me all alone, just the two of us.
I also saw this movie called Relay, which suffered from this issue that a lot of movies these days have, where they try so hard to give you a swerve that they don't bother to make sure that it makes sense to the rest of the movie.
So Vince Russo is a screenwriter now.
Well, at least he's contributing to the finish of the movie because the rest of the movie was too good to be a Vince Russo joint. Um, and it's like, and it's happening a lot where it's like, okay, we have a swerve, and it's like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. But the thing with a swerve, and no one bothered to tell Russo this, is what makes it a good swerve, is that you can look back and go, oh, that makes total sense because of this, that, and the other thing. This made no fucking sense at all. None.
Well, how about that?
And and there's a reason there were only two of us in the theater, and the other person fell asleep.
Ah, sounds like a Lulu.
And I remember thinking because they snored very masculinely, that I'm like, man, I wonder if he's cute. And then when the movie ended and the lights came up, I stood up and looked over. He was a she, and she wasn't that cute.
So you hear loud snoring and you go, oh, I wonder if they're cute.
There was one other person in the movie theater, And so apparently we had similar taste in movies. So I'm like, yeah, maybe, who knows?
Well, maybe next time.
Unless it's the same person.
Hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. You need to think about these things. By the way, Jamie Lee Curtis is 66 years old.
Yeah, she's still right now.
Mark Harmon was in the movie.
Oh.
So was someone named Haley Hudson. This was in Freakier Friday, not actually this may have been Freaky Friday that they never mind, that was Freaky Friday that had Mark Harmon was in this one too. But that had Haley Hudson in it, whoever the hell that is.
Couldn't tell you.
Freakier Friday had Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, someone named Julia Butters, someone named Manny Jacinto, and Chad Michael Murray is still a thing apparently.
I'll be damned.
Yes. Do you remember Allie and AJ?
I remember the name.
They were and still are sisters, and they were a music group.
Okay.
So
they're still sisters. Group. Still sisters, no longer a music group?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
AJ Mashaka is their last name. AJ was in the Goldbergs as Barry's girlfriend, Lainey Lewis. And
okay.
Yeah. And I saw a picture of them today because AJ has blonde hair, Allie has brown hair, and they were braided together for a photo shoot. I'm like, that's cute.
Yeah.
But this show really went in a different direction. But by the way,
here's the thing.
Remember like 2 weeks ago we got someone complaining that we don't stay on topic and whatnot, and so last week we made a deliberate attempt to stay on topic at the beginning of the show and save the shenanigans for the end. Last week was like the least listened to show we've had in a while. So fuck that.
Yeah, you notice that like when we keep all the bullshit to the end and try to force it doesn't work is when we just do it authentically.
Exactly, because it's too that we don't sit here and come up with, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like, we just do it. It's like, I did not have a note here to talk about Freakier Friday and Allie and AJ.
No, we don't have notes for... I don't have notes for any of the non-wrestling shit.
Except like when there's occasionally there'll be something, I'll be like, okay, I want to pop Trey with a comment, and I'll write it down. Other than that, it's whatever the hell comes to our mind at the time.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort.
No problem. So, anywho, before we go, anything else you want to plug or talk about?
I don't know. The Oh My God cast will be back someday, and the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along project will be here Thursday.
Yes, it will. But all right. Until then, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.